Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Welcome to the webinar today. We're specifically going to be talking about CTV and what that means for bank marketers and credit union marketers. Today, I have with me Reed Smith. He's the Chief Product Officer here at TriAD. Welcome, Reed.
Hello.
And I am the Chief Strategy Officer at TriAD Connected TV. And we've spent a lot of time with financial institutions, banks and credit unions specifically the last several years, and have seen some really exciting outcomes working through the connected TV mediums. And today we want to cover a few of those things, really understand how to build a campaign, what connected TV is. And by the end of the webinar today, the goal would be that you have the information that you need to start planning for 2023 and have the information to understand if CTV is going to be a really good medium for you to put into your media mix, or potentially if not. But today we want to cover that so you can make that educated decision. From there, we're going to open it up with what connected TV is. What can we target? What can we target? It's come a long way in the last 36 months. As we all heard, connected TV, CTV from a buzzword standpoint. Today, as it stands, 84% of all homes are now addressable by connected TV. What does that mean, Reed? Who is included in that and who's not included in that?
Sure. Yeah. So what is connected TV? So connected TV, Alex, is any large format in-home TV. So what you typically and traditionally think of as a TV, that's what we're talking about as far as the device is concerned. So what makes connected TV a little bit different is how it's connected. And so any large format TV that's connected to the internet somehow is a connected TV device. So that could be Roku, Apple TV, DirecTV, Comcast, different cable providers, even having access. If you're connected and streaming it via your internet, that's what connect TV definition is.
Excellent. And Nielsen actually just did a latest report. Maybe you can pull the numbers off the top of your head. If not, we'll make sure to follow up with everyone. But connected television is now the #1 most consumed TV medium. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's 35%. So that just was announced. 35% of all TV time spent with TV is now on streaming and connected TV.
Yeah, over cable or broadcast.
Right.
That's incredible. Before we move on here, if you have questions, there's a chat on the right-hand side. I've already seen some questions coming over. Feel free to use that. And at the end, we're going to address some of the hot questions. Hopefully we cover most of that during the conversation today. But if we don't, we'll make sure to kind of grab at the end a few of the hot questions and then make sure your name's correct. If it's not when you logged in, I think you can adjust that there. That way we know who to follow up with. We'll make sure to give you comprehensive information on your questions that you send over. So use that chat log. We're monitoring it, and we'll try to cover everything that we can today. From there, Reed, okay, so that's connected television. It's not broadcast. It's not cable. It's the #1 most consumed medium now in television. And I think it's important, before we even move on, is to talk about television as a whole. When someone's consuming this via streaming, the experience of a connected TV ad is no different than any other television ad, right? That they might have experienced for the last 70 years.
That's right. So yeah, this is 15, 30, and up to 60-second TV spots. Non-skippable. Yeah. It's still that high quality premium TV commercial experience that we're used to.
Yeah. So the big differentiator here, if it's the same inventory in terms of the experience from a target audience member, the biggest differentiator then is the audience, who you're targeting. So cable broadcast is just broadcasting geos, right? I want to do the DC major market broadcast. So if I want to reach 100 people in there, I got to pay to be in front of everybody, right? Connected TV doesn't quite work like that. How does the audience first approach that we take here differentiate from a broadcast?
Yeah, no, I think in a little context, an explanation of audience targeting with connected TV, it really opens up a whole new world to industries and use cases that it didn't used to.
Yeah.
So, let's say that you're a medium-sized bank or credit union. Historically, it may not have made a lot of financial sense for you to run a broadcast by, let's say, especially if you're in a major metro area. Very expensive. A lot of the people that you're reaching are completely out of network, not around your branches. They aren't your clientele or your target audience. So as far as target audience is concerned, we can use third-party data. So we can take information. So let's say you're targeting loans. You want to drive loans, you're a bank, you want to drive auto loans. You can do in market for auto loans using our third-party data providers. So we have 300 plus third-party data providers where we can access that. And then it's only in those geos. So let's say you wanted to do, in market for loans or 10-mile radius around each of your branches, or maybe a whole city or state or multiple states. You can really narrow in on that. So another point with third-party data and audience targeting would be interesting to this audience, and what we've found be very successful is targeting by credit score and income. You can also target by demographic, sociographic information. Lots of things available, but again, you got the third-party data that you can target, layered on with geolocation, and then first-party data. So that's what that would look like is your customer list. You can exclude, let's say you want to run a net new campaign to drive one of your products, and then you can exclude your current clients to make sure you're not spending any money on those folks. So you got laser targeting, then you're going to exclude audiences that are already clients or you don't want to see the message. You can also first party data aspect that people often use in the banking world would be someone who visits the site, let's say didn't complete the loan app or an app for any product. And then we hit them right away on connected TV with a commercial relevant to that.
Yeah. So when we're talking about those audiences and kind of just repeating what you said, for someone building a campaign, you can really kind of zero in each campaign and each audience. It doesn't have to be generalized, right? So if I'm working on Q1 and I know during tax season, we like to drive auto loans, as you pointed out, we can build an audience exclusive to that. And when we do that, we actually have the ability to pull in a forecast that tells how many houses qualify for that. And what's interesting from that is that it really helps with budgeting and planning. So part of, kind of a next level session, if someone said, hey, this is interesting, let's have a conversation with one of our team members, we'd really kind of break down, all right, who are you trying to reach? What products are you trying to sell? Trying to increase deposits with new accounts? Are you trying to, on the credit union side, a lot of this is, do we really want to build awareness to the people who qualify for our credit union? Maybe that's, teachers, or maybe that's first responders. There's credit unions are built around the ability for certain groups of people to participate, and education can be a huge thing. So people that work for certain organizations or live in certain counties or zip codes, once those are built out, and then we can actually present how many people qualify within that from a budget standpoint, how many people can we reach with that, and how often, right? From a reach and a frequency standpoint, and really get a good idea for what is this going to take to be successful? And working with us, we can kind of share best practices on, budget levels, but really, because like you said, from broadcast, it's not like you got to spend $100,000 a year program for this to be successful. Right. If you do spend $100,000, it's going to be hyper-focused on your programs, but there's a lot more levels now that we can get involved that show results and can be really impactful long-term. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Moving from that, let's talk a little bit about use cases. So television, as we talked about, is probably the single most compelling and important marketing and advertising communication medium in the last 70 years. I don't think anybody would argue that. So this is not a new solution for marketing. It's just a new way to access audience and target to get a response. From that, television as a whole is not direct response, meaning you can't click on the television yet. We might get there someday. And if we do, we'll bring it to you first, right? But you can't click on a television ad. So what tactics are we using to help our clients make something that's television, large format, more direct response, to reach out to them and then bring them in to get to them to the site?
Yeah, great question. So what we do to that endpoint would be to have what we call a companion, like display ad would be an example of that, where you're running a campaign. Let's say, again, just to give some context, let's say it's the auto loan example. You're running the Connect TV to that target audience, and then people who viewed that TV commercial, hitting them with display ads so they can take action. So those would get them right into the loan app, or right into a call, or right into whatever that funnel looks like for the marketer. And that's so you can do display, you could do in-stream, out-stream video, lots of options
Yeah.
of ways that we can directly connect the audience. And to your point about the technology, we're working with our partners now. So they're doing lots of beta testing
Yep.
on direct action. That's where it's all going.
Yep.
Is direct action on the TV screen. That's not largely the case right now, to your point. But that's coming soon. And yeah, it's exciting stuff ahead.
Exciting thing. So just the use case standpoint, I'm at home. You target me for a mortgage, right? You qualified me by household income, you qualified me by credit score, and you qualified me because signal data online shows that I'm searching and I'm saving homes on, search sites, realtor.com or zillow.com, right? Those online signal data is now qualified me across the board that this guy's in market, the home buyer, and he qualifies for our requirements.
Yep.
And I'm at home watching evening shows with my family, and I see the ad to the mortgage. From that point, then through our cross device match, we can say, hey, here's in home for Alex, right? And I'm watching that, but this is also Alex's mobile device and Alex's laptop. And from that point, maybe that evening or the next several days, I'm going to start to see those display ads, which have a more direct call to action, apply now,
Sure.
right? Reach out, CTAs on those to get those click throughs to the website. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And it can also work a part of a funnel. So let's say that you're doing Facebook advertising, or you're doing a paid search, for instance. That'd be a common one that you'd be doing. You drive that traffic to your site. We can then target those people that are in market for those things and kind of give them a next level message about, what your offering is and what the promotion is, and get them in touch. So
yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So from there, I have a couple of kind of key questions that have been coming over that I think we should discuss here. One of which was back to inventory. So asking about specific kinds of inventory and how we target. So do we buy specific inventory? Let's say ESPN or Fox News or CNN News spots? Or how do we access the inventory to that audience?
Sure. So we programmatically access the inventory. So what that looks like is we're audience first. So we have this audience. And again, back to that media buying forecast, we'll given the parameters and the use case and what the campaign's trying to do in the target audience. So we build that and we exclusively target them on their devices. Now it's consumption based. So wherever their eyeballs are and whatever shows they're watching, that's where the opportunity meets.
Yeah.
We can isolate inventory contracts and go that route. We don't see it that successful. Happy to talk more thoroughly as to why, but it's all about the right audience at the right time. So we do that through audience targeting. And then we access premium TV inventory.
Programmatically, right? Wherever they are, we're going to be bidding real time and accessing that and maximizing reach and frequency against the objective of your campaign. That's what our buyers are doing full time on behalf of our campaigns. And to your point, what we see is most of the regional and local campaigns, we're going fully programmatic. Wherever they're consuming that content, wherever they're watching their news, wherever they're watching their programs and the latest releases that they're watching, that's where we're going to programmatically access and bid to get those TV spots. But some of the more national programs we see, they want to align mortgages with home renovation programs, things like that. When you have larger audiences to increase that scale, we have seen some of those be more successful. But at the local regional level, it's all about programmatic access. And then even limiting that maybe by geo around where their service areas are, or maybe even branches, right? And we really kind of see that both for banks and credit unions is there's kind of three different types, right? You're either full digital, no locations, like you're not branch centric at all. And then we do more regional areas and maybe even national programs. Then we have some that are mixed with a few support branches, and then others that are strictly focused on branch business and really helping drive footsteps in there, but also online interaction. So it depends on the outcome and what they're trying to accomplish. I guess that the biggest takeaway on strategy is that there's a lot of best practices that we have and that we've worked with and seen reporting outputs on what's being successful. And it really comes down to a case-by-case scenario. It doesn't take a lot of questions to really investigate and understand what you're trying to accomplish, the different products and initiatives that your board, that your leadership team has for you as a marketer this year or next year rather. But we can build specific programs to help drive success into those initiatives. And down to the household level, from there. I guess that kind of leads me in, Reed, to my next question that's been asked several times here about reporting. So high level, what's capable on the reporting side? And then how do we kind of build that out for each campaign?
Yeah. So what we do is we'll have an introductory reporting meeting, really, to make sure that we clearly understand what your key performance indicators are, and then based upon what you're trying to do, and how you guys evaluate and measure success, we'll then advise on the best way to implement tracking, whether that's a pixel on the website, conversion tracking. There's lots of things possible that we go at that point to set it up custom for you guys. We do have an out of the box tracking that you can plug in your website. Works great. Our reporting by default has lots included. But that next level, we see that to be key differentiator of ours is we go next level right out of the gate as a part of our process for reporting and implementation. We're there to assist with that. It's not just, spend money on connected TV and then you as a marketer have to prove success and all these things. So instead, we partner with you in that. We help you implement it with your tech team, your IT team, whoever's involved, and answer those questions.
Great. Yeah. And I think that one of the key outputs of that is understanding what the objective is, right? And to measure reporting and what the best practices are for that, and how we've seen that be successful with other organizations like yourself, because it's important when you're sharing that with leadership that you can calculate some ROI there and understand what it takes to be successful. And then from there, it's not just, how did this work? Because television is large format and what you're reaching, you're going to see a ripple effect over time that impacts the rising tide lifts all ships, right? So you're going to see impacts and increases in your social programs and your retargeting website programs and your direct to mail programs, right? To aligned audiences, you start to see an increase over time and on all those things. So when we talk about attribution models and how we set that all up, we always have that conversation. So expectations are right on your side, but also we're maximizing the output of each campaign that we work on. Last question here that seems to be recurring is on creative.
Sure.
Right? Do we do creative? Can we use creative that they already have? And so I'll kind of address this at a high level, is we're not a creative agency at TriAD Connected TV. However, if you have assets, we're happy to review those assets to see if they would qualify and to give you an idea on what it might take from a editing standpoint to bring those up to spec. There are some pretty specific requirements around connected TV ads and what specs they need to be from a bit rate and a size standpoint. That high quality needs to be there, so you align with the high quality TV inventory that we're accessing. So publishers require some of that creative be of a certain level. From there, I would say creative needs to be viewed and understood that it's large format television. So when you're reviewing your assets that you might already have, if they were built for television, excellent. We can probably get those converted and they apply one-to-one. But one thing that we see often is trying to repurpose a maybe YouTube ad or a midstream outstream ad and converting that to a large format television ad. And those are different mediums. So they might work fine, but it's worth a review from your team. We're happy to kind of give some feedback from our side. But again, not as a creative agency, we do have partners. So if you don't have those assets, or if you don't have a creative partner that you're working with to produce those, we're happy to provide all those specs so you can talk to them about that. But we do have some trusted partners that have some programs and a lot of experience in this industry to put together some high conversion rate, some highly qualified ads that work well for you. So we can make those introductions and help with those conversations. But from a creative side, it's not a barrier. We can either work with your creative team to provide them with the information that they need to build a successful ad, or we have some partners that we can quickly connect with. With that, we kind of talk about timeline. What does it take to put an ad together and to put a campaign together? So to start, I would say kind of a follow-up to this. If this is of any interest and you think that there could be some value to your organization, let's set up a one-to-one call, 20, 30 minutes with your team. Let's learn who those audiences are and what those objectives for your organization are in 2023. We can then build some audiences around that and give some real numbers and talk about budgets and what that looks like. Once those things are decided and you have a creative asset, campaigns can be launched in within a week, right?
Oh,
Once
sure.
those things are in
Yep.
line. But it's good to start talking about it now as you're planning budgets and creative, because we have, Q4 here. We are still working with people who are coming on looking for Q4. So if you're trying to drive final numbers, holiday programs yet this year, it's not out of the question that we could launch something for you yet this year. But the real objective is to make sure you have the information from a planning purpose for next year, 2023. Any other thoughts, additions, Reed, on your side? We have some more questions coming through, but they're all kind of specific, so I won't go over those. We'll reach out direct. But any other closing thoughts on programs and the opportunity that's out there with connected TV?
Yeah, I think, as far as the question of, why now and what's different, because
Mhm.
connected TV streaming has existed for a long time.
Sure.
And I think why now and what's different is those consumptions, the eyeballs are finally watching. It's the number one medium.
Yeah.
We knew it would come sometime. TV hasn't changed, but how we access it has.
Yep.
So consumption's finally now on streaming in a large way. In the future, everything's going that way, even more so. And then access to homes, you said
Yep.
84%. So you got access,
Crazy.
you got eyeballs, time spent with media, and then efficiency. So it's all about, that campaign efficiency. Does it make sense? How far does your ad dollar go? And it's opening up, new industries. So banking, yeah, the largest credit card companies and banks and mortgage companies have done nationwide broadcasts and cable plays.
Right.
But that large and medium and even small banks and credit unions can now take advantage of this. So that's that real moment, and that's
Tipping
true.
point,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's true in banking and in other industries. So what we're doing, and that real unique value of TriAD, is what we do is we package up these use cases and scenarios for industries. So we're not just a connected TV provider like you'll see some of our competitors are.
Yeah.
What's really unique about us is we package it up for industries. We don't have every industry, but we have this one, and we
Yep.
have all
Best
practices. The
practices.
major
Yep.
industries. We've got best practices around, and our approach for that industry is very strong. And this one in particular, we have firsthand knowledge internally and with clients that informs that.
That's
So,
great. No, appreciate that feedback. Love the comments, the questions that are coming through. Let's stay connected. We're going to follow up. We should be sending out a recording of this as well to you. So if you want to share it internally with your team, but we'll make sure to reach out to you individually and follow up directly with any questions that you have on this. Appreciate everybody's time and have a great day and happy planning for 23.
take care.